One of the worst feelings of school is when an easy class turns into a hard class because you can no longer depend on that period to chill anymore. There are many things that can unchill what would be an otherwise chill class, as far as one of the many things can be a teacher change, a seating change, you start a new unit, or just like some other outside factor that can impact the class, which can no longer make it chill. But one thing's for sure is that no matter what that factor is, it always sucks to have a class that you used to just be able to chill and kick your feet up and relax in, and have to actually either like stress about it, do work, or whatever for whatever reason you don't want to be there. Just having that change is horrible. And recently this started happening in my science class, and it's absolutely sucked. And it's low-key been like a huge learning curve because it's been so long, I'm not gonna lie, since I've had a science class that was an absolute peak, to be honest. Like, it's been honestly since like, bro, like elementary school, if I'm keeping it buck, because all of my like middle school like science classes, they weren't quite as fun as like my freshman year and like sophomore year of high school math classes. I mean, not math classes, science classes. If bro, fuck, if I've been saying math classes, bro, I just look back at it, I have not been saying math classes, I've been saying science classes for everyone except that one. But anyways, so yeah, I've had really chill science classes, especially in the first 2 years of high school, and my ones in middle school weren't as chill, but they were still pretty fun. And this one at the start of the year was really chill. I had this teacher that's from Ireland, so he has like a really thick accent, so it's been kind of funny, and he was like a pretty decent teacher. Like, we would actually do some work and like learn and stuff, but most of the work was easy, and it was a pretty fun class. I was at a good table and stuff like that with people I liked. But recently there was a seating change, which I hate, and then also we've just had a new unit, and bro, this new unit has been kicking my ass. Like, the work in it and everything has just been absolutely sucked. And bro, I want to go back to the science class I had last year and the year before so much because they were so peak, bro. I feel like everyone in school has those few like absolute peak classes that they love. Like, maybe you just have a teacher you really like, a subject you really like, or most of the time what happens is you have a lot of friends, or you have friends you sat with, or maybe you have a crush you really like that you get to sit next to and like talk to or something like that. For me, most of the time is that I have a lot of friends in them, and like my science classes, both of the ones that I'm referring to were absolutely stacked with friends. I also had like a really stacked history class last year. Just having class with friends just makes stuff so much better because, not gonna lie, you probably do most of the time get a little bit less work done. Like, teachers and schools do be right about that. When you're around your friends, you do be getting distracted, but you be having some of the best experiences just like talking at tables and stuff, and like during group projects, and just like before and after the class when you're talking and stuff. Just like so many peak memories you make in school. And that's one of the things that's like, school, like, obviously you always gonna hate and have your gripes with, but you make so many peak memories with like friends and stuff like that. That's one of the things that's like with private schools, it's like there's benefits of it, but there's also the amount of stuff you miss out on with just all these just like peak experiences. Like, bro, kids that are homeschooled never know what it's like to have a peak like last period science class. They don't know what it's like to have like a really cool history class with all your friends and like a chill teacher. Like, they don't know how like fun that is. They don't have the social like experiences of that. So that's just one of the things, like homeschooling, it's like, bro, versus public school, you're just gonna miss out on all those like peak experiences and stuff like that. That's why, like, not all, but a lot of homeschooling kids, I feel like they like low-key like weird. Like, sometimes like shit be like off about them. It's because they don't have like a lot of those like social experiences that like most people have. Because most people that have been to like public schools, or even like if you've been to like a private school, you've definitely had like peak classes with like friends and shit like that. I feel like there's a few classes in schools that every time you have them, you almost know it's gonna be peak. Like, it's almost guaranteed. Like, there's still rare times where it isn't, but like 9 times out of 10, you know, like, this is gonna be a chill class. Like, first of all, science classes and like history classes with like male teachers. No shade towards female teachers, but most of the times when these classes have male teachers, they're just extremely like chill and fun to have. Obviously, there's chill female teachers you can have in both of them, and there's cases where male teachers aren't chill. I'm just talking about from my own experiences and like general basis. Second of all is like any technology based class, like any like class where you're primarily like using computers, like any like coding class or computers class like that. A class like that, especially if you have friends, always going to be super chill. I had a tech class in my freshman year year of high school, I had a bunch of friends. It was like a second period class, so it was kind of early in the day, but still extremely fun class. There's also some classes that every time you have them, you just know they're not gonna be chill, and you know you're gonna be doing a lot of work. Like for me personally, I've never really had like a chill math class. Like even if you like math and you have like a math class or a math subject that's easy and you're like good at it and stuff, you still know like every class you're gonna be, or almost every class you're gonna be doing some work, even if you have like a good teacher. Unless you have like a sub that doesn't care about their job or something, almost every time you're gonna be doing some actual work. And that's another thing that can make a class peak, by the way, if there's a sub, so you're just never doing anything. Another class that's also often peak that I left out is gym classes. For me, bro, there's so many people who fail gym classes and don't do good in gym. I'm like, bro, how? It's literally the easiest class, bro. Like, some gym teachers can be assholes, but for me, I feel like you always know a gym class is gonna be easy. Also, you don't have it every day, so it can, especially if you have it like a nice like last period gym class, especially if you have some friends in it, especially with like a nice chill teacher. It's just always gonna be a good time, not gonna lie. ELA classes are kind of a toss-up for me. They can be extremely fun and extremely chill, but they can also be extremely bad. It kind of just depends on the people in the class, the teacher, and when you have the class. The teacher is really the biggest emphasis, because some teachers, bro, they'll be awful. Sometimes you'll have a female English teacher, which basically means they're pregnant the whole year, so you just have a sub. So it really just depends on what type of sub. So you might not have any work the whole year, which in that case is normally pretty chill. Or you could have an ELA teacher that's an absolute asshole. I feel like in our time in school, we've all had at least one of those before. I've definitely had a few in my time. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. I was just in my science class thinking about, man, this class really used to be like so fun. Now it's so boring and so much effort and so much work, and I hate it. And I also think about, yo, I should make a video about this, because I haven't made a video in like over a week, and I'm sorry about that. I've just been like super busy for school. Huge thank you guys for 50 subscribers. That's a really big milestone. And just thank you for all the support on the recent videos. I've had my first long form video reach over like 3,000 views recently, so that's been like a huge milestone. So yeah, like thank you for that. But yeah, anyways, I was just ranting about like fun classes and just like classes in general and stuff. And if you want more of this, subscribe. But anyways, that's about it. Hope you have a good day. Peace.